Can you imagine coming home from a long day at work only to find your kids gasping for air in the backyard? Their eyes watering from some noxious spray? That's exactly what happened to us last summer. And it all started with our nightmare neighbor, Karen Wilkins. She was the self-appointed queen of the cul-de-sac, always meddling in everyone's business. But this time, she crossed a line that led straight to her downfall, harassing our innocent children with chemicals just because they were playing too loudly for her liking. Let me back up a bit and paint the picture for you. We were the Thompsons, me, Jake, my wife Emily, and our two rambunctious kids, little Mia who's 7 and energetic Tommy at 10. We'd moved into this quiet suburban neighborhood in Maplewood, Ohio, about 3 years ago, dreaming of barbecues and bike rides. It was idyllic at first, green lawns stretching out like a carpet, the faint scent of fresh-cut grass mingling with the distant hum of lawnmowers on weekends, birds chirping, kids laughing, pure Americana bliss. But then there was Karen and her husband, Bob, living right next door. Karen was in her mid-50s, with that perpetual scowl etched into her face like it was carved from stone. And Bob was her silent enabler, nodding along to whatever decree she issued from her porch throne. From day one, Karen had issues. She'd bang on our shared fence if our dog barked once too often, or she'd leave passive-aggressive notes about our recycling bins being an eyesore. Sigh. We'd just roll our eyes and ignore it, figuring she was lonely or something. But things escalated when summer hit and the kids were out of school. Mia and Tommy loved turning our backyard into their personal adventure zone, building forts from old cardboard boxes, splashing in a kiddie pool, their giggles echoing like joyful bells. The air would fill with the sweet smell of sunscreen and popsicles melting in the heat. What could be more harmless? Right? Wrong. Karen decided our kids' playtime was a personal assault on her peace. One afternoon, I was inside prepping dinner when I heard the commotion. A sharp, acrid stench wafted through the open window, like bleach mixed with rotten eggs. I dashed out, heart pounding. And there she was, Karen, hose in hand, spraying what looked like weed killer straight over the fence into our yard. "Your brats are ruining my garden with their noise," she shrieked, her voice cracking like thunder. Mia was coughing, wiping her eyes, while Tommy yelled, "Mom! It burns!" Emily rushed out, scooping them up, her face pale as a ghost. "What the hell are you doing, Karen? That's poison. Can you believe it?" She was using some heavy-duty chemical spray, the kind meant for pests, not people. The label on the bottle she'd left dangling over the fence screamed warnings about toxicity. Our kids' toys were coated in a misty residue, and the grass where they'd been playing turned yellow almost instantly. Emily and I were furious, our blood boiling like a kettle left too long on the stove. We confronted her right there, the air thick with tension and that choking chemical fog. "This is assault," I shouted, my voice trembling with rage. Karen just smirked, crossing her arms. "Call the cops if you want. Your kids are the real pests here." Bob peeked out from their door, mumbling something about keeping the peace, but he didn't stop her. Sigh. It was like dealing with a toddler in an adult's body. We didn't waste time. Emily bundled the kids into the car and headed to the ER, just to be safe. The doctor confirmed mild irritation, red eyes, scratchy throats, but thank God, nothing permanent. Still, the fear in Mia's eyes as she asked, "Daddy, why does the lady hate us?" broke my heart into a million pieces. That night, as the kids slept fitfully, their little chests rising and falling with uneasy breaths, Emily and I sat on the couch, whispering plans. "We can't let this slide," she said, her voice a mix of steel and tears. I nodded, the metallic taste of anger lingering in my mouth. How dare she endanger our children over something as trivial as laughter? The next day, we filed a police report. The officers came, took statements, and even snapped photos of the wilted grass and sticky toys. Karen played innocent, batting her eyelashes like some bad actress in a soap opera. It was an accident, she claimed, her tone dripping with fake remorse. But the cops weren't buying it. They issued a warning and suggested we get a restraining order if it happened again. Word spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. Old Mrs. Jenkins from across the street shook her head, sighing. That Karen's always been a piece of work. Even the HOA president, mild-mannered Mr. Patel, pulled me aside at the mailbox. We've had complaints about her before, he confided. The scent of his aftershave mixing with the morning dew. But this is next level. For a week, things simmered. We kept the kids inside. Their usual outdoor romps replaced by board games and cartoons. The house echoing with muffled frustration instead of joy. But Karen wasn't done. Oh no. She amped it up. One evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in oranges and pinks, we heard the unmistakable hiss of a spray can. Peeking over the fence, there she was again, dousing her side with even stronger stuff, some industrial-grade herbicide she'd ordered online. Judging by the boxes piled on her porch. Just maintaining my property, she called out tauntingly, knowing full well the wind would carry it our way. The fumes hit us like a punch, sharp, eye-watering, making Tommy sneeze uncontrollably. Why won't she stop? Mia whimpered, burying her face in Emily's shirt. Enough was enough. We lawyered up, contacting a local attorney specializing in neighbor disputes. His name was Alex Rivera. A sharp guy with a no-nonsense vibe. This isn't just harassment, he said over coffee. The steam rising like our building resolve. If those chemicals are as toxic as you say, we could have a case for endangerment and property damage. We gathered evidence, photos, medical reports, even air quality tests we paid for out of pocket. The results? Traces of banned pesticides in our soil, stuff that's illegal in our state because it harms wildlife and kids. Twist, turns out Karen had been buying it from a shady online supplier, bypassing regulations. As we built our case, the neighborhood rallied. Sarah from 2 doors down shared stories of Karen bullying her over holiday lights. She reported me to the city, Sarah exclaimed, her laughter tinged with bitterness. Mr. Patel dug into HOA records, uncovering Karen's history of frivolous complaints. The air buzzed with whispers at block parties, the clink of glasses underscoring tales of her entitlement. But Karen fought back dirty. She started a smear campaign on the neighborhood Facebook group, posting rants about noisy nuisances and how we were bad parents. Her words stung like salt in a wound. But they backfired. Comments flooded in supporting us. Karen, get a life, one read. Sigh. Her own arrogance was unraveling her. The real twist came when we discovered something explosive. While testing our yard, the environmental expert we hired sampled Karen's side too, with her reluctant permission. Of course. Lo and behold, her overuse of chemicals had contaminated her own groundwater. Her prized rose bushes, withering from the very poison she'd wielded like weapons. But worse, the stuff had seeped into her basement, causing mold and structural issues. This house is a hazard, the inspector declared, his voice echoing in the empty rooms as Karen stood there, fuming. Bob finally spoke up, his face ashen. Karen, this is on you. For the first time, I saw cracks in her facade, a deep, weary sigh escaping her lips. Court day arrived like a storm cloud. The courtroom smelled of polished wood and stale coffee, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Our lawyer laid it out, endangerment charges, civil suit for damages. Karen's attorney tried to spin it as a misunderstanding, but the evidence was damning. Photos of our kids' red eyes. Lab reports on the toxins, it all painted her as the villain she was. Why would anyone do this? The judge asked. Brow furrowed. Karen muttered excuses. But her voice cracked. The bravado gone. In a dramatic turn, the environmental agency got involved, fining her thousands for illegal chemical use. The kicker? Her house was deemed uninhabitable due to the contamination she'd caused herself. They had to sell, fast and at a loss. Watching the "for sale" sign go up was bittersweet. The moving trucks rumbled away one rainy afternoon, the patter of drops on the roof mirroring our mixed emotions. Karen shot us a glare as she drove off. But there was defeat in her eyes, no more smirks. Bob waved awkwardly, perhaps relieved. Our kids. They were back outside. Their laughter ringing clear and free. The air fresh without that chemical taint. Mia built a new fort. Tommy splashed in the pool. And Emily and I shared a quiet hug on the porch. The scent of blooming flowers a welcome change. In the end, karma hit Karen hard. She lost her house, her pride, and her place in the community. But here's the inspiring part, standing up for what's right pays off. If someone's bullying you or your loved ones, don't back down. Gather your proof. Rally your allies. And fight. Justice isn't always swift. But when it comes, it's sweet. What would you do in our shoes? Let me know in the comments, and remember, kindness costs nothing. But entitlement? It can cost you everything.